Hey there, I hope you're doing really well. I just wanted to take a few moments to update you about a couple of things that are coming up at FBC over the next few weeks. But before I get into that, I just wanted to share a thought with you. You know, God's been on my case recently, and I don't know if this happens to you, but often a thing that happens for me is that when God's trying to say something to me, it appears in multiple places throughout my life. And that's certainly been the case over these last few weeks and months. You know, there's been times where God has been invading my thought life, my prayer life, as I've been reading the Bible, as I've been chatting with other people. There's been key themes that seems to come up. And a key message that God has been speaking to me, and I've shared it with some of you, is all about hope. You know, that God calls us to be people of hope. And actually in Him, we do have hope. Even when things seem hopeless, and even when things seem to be falling apart around us, when we put our hope in Him, it fills us with a sense of purpose and destiny like nothing before. But there's something else that God's been saying to me, certainly over this week, and it's come up in a couple of conversations, and actually it came up in my word for today on the YouVersion app this morning. And this is a word that's linked to hope, but it's a word trust. Somebody said to me this week that God asks one thing of us, and that's to trust Him. And that's been a message that stuck with me, it's stayed with me, it's come up in a couple of other places with a few other conversations. And I really sense that that's what God is saying to me, and I think He might be saying it to you as well, that God is calling us, that perhaps God is calling you to trust Him at the moment. And that can be a difficult thing to do, because often, when things are not going the way we want, we can think, okay, well, I'm just going to trust God that He will make sure things work out for my good, that as I trust God, He will make sure that things in the end up as I want them. And that's not what God is calling us to do. And that's not what hope or trust in God or Jesus is all about. That when we put our hope in Him, when we put our trust in Him, it's actually saying to Him, you know what, God, I'm not happy with this. I'm not okay with this. I'm not sure how this is going. Things are not going as I would hope they would go. But I trust that You are at work in the midst of all that's happening in my life and in the world at the moment. And whatever happens, however things turn out, I trust that You are at work. Romans 8 has a great verse that says, in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. And I have a sense that God is saying to me at this time, and I think He might be saying it to you and to us as a church community, is that He's calling us, He's challenging us to put our trust in Him. Not that He will do the things that we want Him to do, but that we can look to Him and trust that He is at work. Even when we can't see Him, He is still working. And the message that came up in YouVersion today, the word for today, was all about that, and it was from Isaiah, and it says this: trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord Himself is the rock eternal. Let me read that again. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord Himself is the rock eternal. And I just love that image as God as our rock. It gives me an image of strength. It gives me an image of steadfastness, of sureness. And God is that rock, that we can stand on Him. We can build our lives on Him, that we can trust Him. Because even when things don't work out as we would hope they would, God is still at work. So I hope this week you can find a way to trust God and step out in putting your trust in Him. Anyway, let me tell you a couple of things that are coming up at FBC over the next few weeks. We're carrying on FBC Live every Sunday morning on YouTube or Facebook. Just go to fbcnext.com/live to tune in. We're in week 2 this Sunday of a new series called You're Not the Boss of Me, where we're looking at how can we say no to those emotions that compete for control. And Chris Porter, a friend of ours from Andover Baptist Church, is going to be sharing with us this week all on the message of guilt. So I really encourage you to tune in for that. Now, next Sunday, things are going to be a little bit different because we're actually hosting an in-person family worship event at 10:30 a.m. in the hall at FBC. It's open to anyone, but it's aimed at families especially, and we're going to be meeting around tables. We're going to have activities and lots of fun stuff to do, and we're going to be spaced apart in the hall. So there's limited spaces. There's still a few spaces left. So if you want to come along to that, you need to go to fbcnext.com/family family. You can get all the information there and you can sign up to reserve your spot. You need to do that before Wednesday of this coming week so that we can make sure everything is set and everything is safe for you. At the same time, next Sunday at 10:30 a.m, we will still be running FBC Live, and we'll be in week 3 of You're Not the Boss of Me. So if you're not able to come to the family worship event, you can still tune in and we'll still have the live chat happening at that time. And that's still available on demand afterwards. So if you do come to the family worship event, you can always go back and watch that at a later date and still engage with that sort of stuff there. There's also a few other things happening. So this week on Tuesday, we're launching an alpha course. There's still spaces for that. So if that's something that you're interested in, if you want to explore some of the bases of life and faith, or you've got a friend or a family member you think this will be beneficial for, you can invite them to take part of that. Just go to fbcnext.com/alpha and you can get all the information there. And then also coming up on the 21st of October, that's a Wednesday evening, we've got a prayer and vision evening with our ACM, that's our annual church meeting. And it's an opportunity for us to gather together around our purpose, to draw together and remind ourselves about, well, what is it that God has called us to do? Why has God created us as a church community? And what does the future hold for us? We're anticipating living in a post-COVID world as we continue to go through this current crisis. We believe that it will end, and perhaps life will be different, this new normal that everybody is talking about. Well, what does that mean for us as a community? We're going to be exploring some of that and sharing some of that. We're going to be around tables for people who are in the hall, so we'll be meeting in person, or we'll be meeting online as well. So if you're not comfortable to come, or you're not able to come and be in the room, there's an opportunity to connect digitally as well. We'll have a time to worship together, to pray together. We're going to share communion together. So we've got all that set if you're coming meeting personally. You can find out more information and you can sign up, and you need to do that if you're meeting, if you want to come in person, or if you want to get a digital ticket, you need to sign up. So just go to fbcnext.com/ACM to find out more about that and to register your place. Well, that's it. You're all up to date. Make sure you stay connected to us on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube, or fbcnext.com to find out all the stuff that's going on and how you can stay part and stay connected of our church community. Take care. Hope to see you soon.